Hello.
Hello, here we are.
I know. Our
Yes.
first ever near moons.
Yes, welcome to Mere Moons.
Yes.
We are. Here we are. Um, so this,
How are you feeling?
uh, well, there's a little bit of technological hiccups, but we're just going with the flow now. I'm excited for what we're birthing here with our very first episode,
Yeah.
and sharing with the world for the first time our conversations, like so many deep dive, shadow dive conversations and illuminations and healings we've held space for each other through. So,
Exactly.
yeah, it feels vulnerable.
It does. I'm so used to
Or-
just like talking to you over the phone,
yeah,
and never recording anything.
yeah,
So to come to this agreement, like when you first came to me and said, hey, maybe we should just do a live recording,
yeah.
didn't think it would be a big deal. And now that we're here, yeah, it does feel really vulnerable to do this.
Mm-hmm.
It's so different.
Yeah, so different. Yes,
Yeah,
but I guess we're in some kind of new, like a lot of changes happening, and something is, I feel like internally something has been calling to burst through,
yeah,
burst out from our being inside the egg of our own cocoon. And
that's so true.
yeah, so
Yeah,
we are in the birth.
yep.
Yes.
And I think we both agree to do this live so that other people, I don't know, can, I don't know, join in on like our conversations with each other. Because we just always talked about like, oh my God, I wish like other people could hear what we're just talking about right now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So
All this,
yeah,
all these deep insights and revelations,
yeah.
and how much healing I've received from you, Sylvia. Um,
Oh,
yeah,
same with me to you. Yeah.
yeah. And I think it's just really incredible the kind of um, safety we've created with each other to just
Totally.
be able to be so authentic.
Yeah.
Like
And safe with each other.
the craziest, gnarliest things.
Yeah. Oh gosh.
So,
The stuff we like discovered while diving deep.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. And just
Yeah.
going. Yeah. So I guess this is Mirror Moons.
Yeah.
We're opening up the space for everyone that's tuning in the future.
Yep.
Yeah, the future now.
And
Mhm.
yeah. And since I already know you, like, do you want to just kind of tell people like who you are and a little bit about you?
Sure. As I get a little bit of visibility, Shane.
Yeah.
Like, yeah. So I'm Kwonyin, and Korean American shadow diver, kind of going, having been on this journey of healing my relationship to uh, how I take up space in the world, and yeah, like basically awakening after awakening to be kind of importance of my emotions. Yeah. And yeah, I guess I've been just becoming increasingly more passionate about uh, how to find safety with our shadow, my shadow, and I guess being like a very kind of introverted, shy person, and with the upbringing I had, where it was just really, there wasn't really space for me to even feel like I could take up space. There's so much depression happening, where just got reinforced like more and more like later in my life, where I realized, oh, this is a problem, and I need to find a way where I could like really unblock this because it was just affecting
Yeah.
everything in my life. And so yeah, so I've just been in this journey of like kind of coming into awareness of why I'm so blocked and how I can start to relieve myself and release myself. So that's why I'm just really all obsessed with catharsis,
Yeah.
work that I like to call the space I hold for people.
Yeah.
And I guess especially kind of seeing how there's connection with being an Asian feminine being, and kind of like the Asian lineage that's just really like, yeah, you've got to basically, yeah, like put on this demure surface, like there's just so much, yeah, there with
Yeah.
uh, the way that assumptions about what it is to be an Asian woman.
Yeah.
So, yeah,
And you have been like focused more towards like the Asian feminine,
yeah,
huh? Yeah.
just because that's my understanding of myself.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so, uh, and just realizing how much, we are influenced by like how others see us, kind of playing
Hmm.
into how others expect you to behave. And so that work of there's that external and how do I know myself? Who am I? Like who's the authentic self that wants to
Yeah.
like create and be in this world that's kind of taking in what others see you and kind of where you meet that edge to be like, well, am I that?
Hmm.
And how
Hmm.
you like give into that. And also the force that's like, no, I'm not that because something feeling the way that I feel in response to that is like
Yeah.
not that,
Yeah.
the contradiction. So like working with the contradiction.
And through that perspective, through like the culture of being a female and Asian and, Asian American, I feel like through your integrational work, you must have like become so aware of, oh wait, this is a cultural brainwashing
Yeah.
or
Mhm.
like a
Yeah.
female Asian brainwashing versus wait, that's not me. And then discovering like I
Yeah.
guess all of those programming were like blended. And so like was it surprising to discover like, oh my God, that's not me? Or
Yeah.
this
It's
was
the continual discovery of like, okay, who am I?
yeah, yeah. So you kind of took that path to discover yourself,
Mhm.
basically.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
And that it always, that this kind of self discovery is always happening through relationship,
Yeah,
self in relation to how the other relates to you.
I agree.
So,
Um,
yes.
that's a good point that you brought up, that whichever avenue you take to discover yourself, you end up discovering yourself because it's, like you said, all about relationship, like being aware of what relationship you have with, I don't know, like
Like
with anything.
anyone and anything.
Yeah.
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 Yeah. It's everyone and everything is speaking to you. Oh, I think your audio cut out. Are you here?
Yeah.
Okay.
I was saying like there's a little bit of lag right there.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that's me in a, yeah, nutshell.
Yeah.
What about you, Sylvia?
Um, well,
So,
I could say that like I'm so glad that we somehow met in life because I kind of took a different path than you. As you know, like I discovered integration through like me being curious about how can I help children more, uh, like loving to be around children and wanting to start my own like preschool, and really dedicating and devoting myself to like my work with children because that's what I love to do. And it, like my personal life and my, oh, forgot to introduce myself. My name is Sylvia Hong, and I'm also Korean American. And yeah, so through my journey of kind of questioning life, I've always just been this like curious person. Like I've had a lot of whys and kind of wanted to break that spell of like, I grew up in a religious background. My parents raised me as a Catholic, and kind of through that personal journey of like, do I want to keep this religion? Is there something else that is better for me other than this? And also my passion for children. I kind of stumbled across integrational work and inner child healing. And I guess through wanting to understand children more so that I could become a better educator, I slowly started to discover like my like my unresolved memories that would slowly come up, and kind of using integration on myself and also becoming a facilitator eventually, um, just changed my life. And I think, and how you and I met was through Teal Swan's, what is it? Uh,
completion process.
yeah, completion process retreat. And I,
It was the training we were in,
yeah, yeah, in the
certificate
training.
program.
And so, um, I don't think I would have ever met you if it wasn't for that program. And I'm so grateful that I joined. And even the story of how I even signed up for that thing
Yeah.
was like so spontaneous, last minute. And then to find out that there's another Korean American that knows integrational like work got me really excited because
Yeah.
at that time I didn't know anyone, like anybody who kind of knew this work but me.
Yeah.
Um, and so, and also on top of that, when you and I met, discovering that, oh my God, we only live 10 minutes away from each other. And so there's so much synchronicities that happened for us, the moment we met. And then there, after the after the program, surprisingly kept in contact because during the program we barely talked.
Yeah. We were like
Yeah.
in different groupings with who we were
Uh-huh.
like
Uh-huh. And
assigned
it's
with.
so interesting that we didn't really talk though,
Yeah.
and how we ended up talking more after the program.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I remember, um, I don't know, I think we got closer because you were the first one I asked out of all of my friends. Um, and the only person I asked randomly, like, if you knew of a good roommate, I'm needing a place to move out.
Mhm.
And then you called me like a week later saying, I remember you asking, and I
Oh,
know a
great.
friend who's looking for one.
Yeah.
And then since then, I think that's when you and I just started talking a lot
Yeah.
and realizing how compatible we were. And I think from there, we just started,
Yeah.
like, I remember after knowing you, like 3 months later was when it was New Year's. And we decided to, like, I went over to your house and we did a lot of like integrational work
We
back
did
and
like
forth.
shadow integration marathon. We just keep like, okay,
Totally.
working through each trigger. Like now you're
Yeah.
and just
On New Year's Eve.
yeah. And I think you're the first person I met who was as enthusiastic about diving into the shadows as me, where you like,
Likewise.
and I was like, ooh, this is fun. Oh, this is juicy. Like, okay.
Yeah.
And kind of really getting off on it. I'm like, oh my God. So cool.
Yep. Yep. It almost became kind of an addiction, right? Like
Yeah.
shadow work was an addiction.
You know?
A healthy one though. Yeah. And then I think from then on, we just kind of, I don't know, just grew closer and created such safety for each other.
Mhm. Yeah.
Yeah.
I remember there was this moment, I think I was struggling with something and I was just like in the car, like parked. And,
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
and I was just, and I think I was talking to you and you were helping me through something. And then you said to me, like, okay, but if there's any residual thing, just call me. Like,
Hmm.
you'll never be a burden to me, or like it's not bothering me. Cause I was like, no, like I got it. But you were like, no, like
Yeah. Yeah.
it's not a burden. Just call me. Even if it's really late, like I'll pick up.
Yeah.
And I
Yeah.
just remember being so stunned to receive that kind of assurance that it's not burdening anyone like
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
it was
Yeah.
because it was so earnest and authentic and genuine. I really felt like, oh shit, I really can if I need to.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
I don't need to just like cope with it on my own.
Yeah. I
And
totally
so
meant it. Yeah.
yeah, so that and I know you still do. You're like
Yeah. Like, it's
so
okay if I'm
down,
sleeping, just call. Yeah.
so down, so down to go into the shadow. So yeah,
Yeah.
so I'm like, whoa, this is
Yeah.
next level.
Yeah.
Yeah, safety.
Um, uh-huh. Totally. Like I never knew safety could feel this safe.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
It's
Oh, and by the way, like Kwonyin lives in California and I live in New York.
yeah.
And even though we don't see each other, but like connect via phone, it's like it's crazy how I could feel so safe with a friend where um like I don't know, it's just like a whole new different level of safety that I've never experienced before, ever. And I think that's, again, it goes back to I can't believe how safe a person can feel. Like it's crazy. And you're not even in my physical reality.
So
Like,
I'm like laughing right now because
yeah, it's so funny.
it's so funny because um like the degree of safety where you can show your deepest, darkest demon.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Yes. Yes. It's crazy
Yeah.
how, like, oh my God, so what Kwonyin talking about is when I first discovered my own demon was when I was over at her house visiting, and I felt so tormented at night. Like I was so sleepy but couldn't sleep. And so since I couldn't sleep, I would get sleepy in the daytime. And then when I try to take a nap, I like, so for some reason I couldn't sleep. And that anger just kind of like kept building within myself, almost like a torment. And it was just out of the blue, randomly at dinner time, I decided to reveal this inner feeling of mine to Kwon. And as I was saying it out loud, and this is, by the way, at night too, where everything was, like it was dark and like, yeah. So um, Kwon said, like, asked, like, oh, okay, you want to go into it? And so I did, not knowing what would come out. And in that moment, my demon shadow just fully came out. And it felt like one of those scenes that you see in those like horror movies where a priest is trying to get rid of an exorcist. That, no joke, no joke. And I was actually like, when that shadow came out, my neutral self felt like I was sitting in the back seat of the car. But because this fragmented part of me now became so dominant that I couldn't like come back to my neutral self. It wouldn't allow me. But my neutral self that felt like that was in the back seat was so terrified for Kwon. And the whole time I had my eyes closed. So I was so scared for you actually. And because even I, the neutral self, felt so scared for me too. So if I was this scared, I just thought, oh my God,
Yeah.
my friend is never going to want to be friends with me again. I ruined this relationship. Like she's going to freak out by me. And like, oh my God, it was, yeah.
So it was like like when we say like demon, it's just another term for saying like your most like disowned self, you know,
Yes. Yeah.
like the
Yeah.
part of you that's like you're like even scared of, you're like so like embarrassed, like no, that's not me.
Yep.
And you
Exactly.
never want to be that. Yeah.
Yeah.
And so
But it did come out in a way where it did look like one of those like movie scenes where
yeah.
you don't want to mess with that shit.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like it was like finally getting seen and it was like kind of like
Uh-huh.
yeah, uh-huh,
Like
uh-huh.
wanted to scare people.
Yeah, right, that was the thing, it wanted
Yeah.
to scare people, right?
Uh-huh.
Mhm.
Uh-huh. Because and I think now when I look back, it showed that, like, it showed itself in that way because it wanted to show that, like, nobody wants to be with me. Nobody.
Oh.
And so it's kind of like it was trying to prove itself
Yeah,
that nobody is going to want to be with that part.
yeah,
And of course, if you're that scary, no
yeah,
one's going to want to be
right,
like there with it,
yeah.
except for you.
I was like, I felt that energy, I was like, "Oh, I know you."
I'm so glad
Yeah,
because I had no idea. And I'm just like scared for you the whole time.
but, like, it was so interesting, like, I could feel that energy of, like, yeah, wanting to intimidate and scare and, like, just
Yeah.
being, like, reveling in how evil it is.
Oh my God. Yeah.
And I could like
Yeah.
recognize that energy. I was like, oh, like I know that energy. And yes, like I like empathized with how much other people had rejected it for it to have to like become this way.
Yeah.
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 So I was just
And
kind of like,
I totally believe you because when I remember exactly when I got into that part of me
yeah,
and was having this conversation with you, at first it was like, you don't know me. Like, like,
Right.
like, like BS, you're BS.
Yeah.
There's no way you understand me. Nobody understands me.
Yeah.
But the only way it got through to this part of me was I could well, this part of me definitely felt your genuineness of every time you spoke to this part of me, it was coming from such an authentic place. Like I couldn't help but to like, even if I tried to deny it, I couldn't deny it because I could so feel how you were telling the truth every time you spoke. Like there was no bullshit coming out of your mouth. So like when you said, no, I know you, you don't scare me because I recognize that in me too. Or like when you were saying you understood,
Yeah.
I could tell you were not lying at all. And that the way you kept communicating with me through that authenticity was what broke this part of me. Yeah.
Well, like it broke that part down to like be like, oh,
Mhm,
I don't need
mhm.
to like
Yep. Like be this front. Yeah.
yeah, have that front to
Yeah.
like with people.
Yeah. And when it did, like kind of reveal its true self,
Mhm.
it was basically a very younger part of me. It was really interesting and fascinating that like this little kid in me, like kind of managed to become this scary thing that even I myself was scared of. Yeah. And yeah, it was like when that part finally revealed its true self of who it was, it was like, God, such a young inner child of myself that was so vulnerable and soft and gentle. And it was very surprising to discover in the end. And like you and I just cried. God, I just bawled like crazy. Like, yeah. And then you and I had some
True moment.
mhm,
Mhm.
major awakening.
Yeah, major awakening with um like this awakening about demons and what they are
Hmm.
and how wow, like demon compassion.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
We're
Like
like,
almost like
"We're
nothing
good,
will
right?"
scare us anymore because
Yeah,
we know what's hiding underneath.
yeah,
Yeah.
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 And so it was just like, I just remember just like, oh my God, just being like, okay, this is a key, major key.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I,
it was like
yeah.
another like initiation into like our work as healers and like shadow integrators and shadow divers. And like,
Yeah.
this is, you know, this is bringing the whole like light versus dark thing. Like, no, we're not
Hmm.
doing that anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Exactly.
I mean,
Exactly.
or it's been like that, you know, where it's like every time you face this unwanted, disowned part, you know, like
Hmm.
within yourself and
Hmm.
the other, like just
Hmm.
recognizing if you're just looking at the surface,
Yeah.
yeah, then you're missing out on like a
Yeah.
whole other, like deeper dimension, you know? So,
Yeah.
and missing out on like
Yeah. It was such
understanding
a,
awareness. Yeah.
uh-huh. It was such a blind spot because I think even you and I, it's like the world accepts good people, happy people, nice people.
Yeah.
And like, yeah, I was really shocked to discover, oh my God, like I didn't even see myself like that. Like it was surprising that I had this in me.
It like shattered your own self-concept of like, oh, you
Totally.
know, I'm
Yeah.
doing this
And
good work and I'm a good person. It's like,
uh-huh,
uh-huh.
uh-huh. And like people who watch this video, they're gonna probably be like, how wait, like like it'll be hard to imagine like to what degree did you surrender to your demon, you know? Because like you look like you're like sweet and innocent and like wouldn't be able to like reveal that really dark space.
No,
But
I've seen
I
you. You
did.
go
Yeah.
all the way. Like, which I hope if you keep watching Mirror Moons,
Yes.
see things getting gnarly
Yeah.
on it.
Yeah.
Oh my God. It's like full surrender.
Yeah.
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 Like not holding back, you know?
Hmm. Hmm.
And that's catharsis. Like you like to get deep
Really in there.
to the root, deep
Yeah.
corners. Yeah.
Yeah.
You like being thorough.
Hmm. Hmm.
Yeah.
Totally. You and I so do that together.
I know times where I'm like, yeah, I think I got it. And you're like,
Yeah. Let's dive in a little bit more.
yeah. Oh my God.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah. And oh, so I think like going along with safety,
Yes. Safety.
um, we built so much safety in our connection as friends that like um any part of me that I may be shameful of, that I may have suppressed about myself or whatnot. And I think it goes the same for you too about me, where like I don't feel scared to reveal any part of me, like any part of me, because the moment I do, like all you hold space for is for me to feel safe, to hear me out as to why I'm feeling the way I am. And like again, like when Teal told you like, oh yeah, I see you as like a nurse,
Mhm.
I can vouch, you know,
Mhm.
with Teal that like you are like such a good nurse when it comes to integrational work, because like when I really dive deep into like deep shadow, um like you're like this type of nurse that really knows how to hold space for that like um deep dark place when like I surrender to that place. I don't know, you just, I know you use your like intuition and all that, but like wherever like wherever I'm at with wherever I'm at with my emotion, you just kind of really just hold that safety to just let me be me without any judgment. Just you allow me to just be me. And I think through that safety, like I really got to experience personally for myself, like, oh my God, like you really allowed me to experience what true safety is. And so now, whenever I feel like I can't resolve anything by myself, and like even these like parts of me that doesn't feel like anyone else can understand and gets really angry, but the moment you start talking, even though it's never met you, I think it's because like like most of my parts have already like befriended you, that like I don't know how to even express it in words, that even my parts that haven't met you yet, they feel safe with you easily. So therefore, instead of like resisting it more, I'm able to surrender more quickly, if that makes sense. And I think um, that's what I realized when like when you feel safe with somebody, it doesn't feel scary to reveal your authentic self. Yeah. And I think, yeah, you and I have been doing that to each other where we just feel safe. We just feel safe with each other. Yeah.
Important foundation this is. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like it's a foundation for everything, you know.
Yeah.
Just even knowing that this kind of relationship can exist, which is why we want to share our relationship with
Yeah.
you.
Yeah.
Um,
Totally.
yeah, you who is watching right now and feeling our energy and just knowing that, like, yeah, um, like this kind of relating is possible when you kind of hold the intention to, like, that this is also the kind of relationships you deserve, you know, to like
Hmm.
fully be able to be yourself.
Yep. Yep.
Yeah. And and like um, and that, like, you can be received in whatever, like, demons are lurking inside, you know. That's just like, it's just
Yeah.
the parts of you that are so in pain that were just shut out. But like, when um when that can be revealed and shared and held and received, and like knowing that you're not going to get rejected for that, more like, oh my god, this is like an opportunity to have like even more, like, deeper, safe intimacy. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's what makes you feel stronger and more secure in yourself and more
Hmm.
confident to keep being yourself and take up space.
Yeah. And it only needs, like, it only takes one person to feel fully safe with,
Yeah.
that becomes a comparison to all the other relationships.
Where you
Like,
don't feel that,
yeah, like
right?
whether it's like intimate relationship, other friendships, relationships with your family, just everything. And so just to get a taste of true safety with one person,
Mhm.
like, allows um, you to feel inspired to create that kind of safety with everybody.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, and
Like,
that's that kind of receiving and like knowing, recognizing that energy and how you feel inside of it, that's what starts to like ripple out.
yeah,
Yeah.
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 Uh-huh.
Uh-huh.
Totally.
So yeah.
I know. What time is it? Oh,
Yeah, we're good.
it's, yeah. Okay. Okay.
Mhm.
Because we initially said we're going to do this for an hour today.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah.
Hmm.
Cool.
So how is, I don't know, like, I guess um through our like future episodes, or we'll reveal more of um like you'll get to know more of Kwonyin and
Yeah.
more of myself.
Mhm.
And I think we just kind of wanted this, like, uh mere moons to just kind of be like an authentic conversation that just, like, we don't even know what we're going to talk about. Like today there was like no script.
Yeah.
We don't do any of that.
Mhm.
We just kind of go with the flow with where our conversation just
Yeah.
kind of,
Yeah.
yeah.
And I feel like
um
future episodes will kind of be tuning into what the collective shadow is, like what's going on in our own life.
yeah,
And so then we'll
yeah,
um, it'll be a collective healing as we kind of pinpoint what that shadow is and dive into it.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So
Through
basically you will see
words,
us
word,
doing
whatever. Mhm.
integration on each other,
Yes.
and to know that, oh, like, it's okay to dive this deep and to expose this much.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Because we've witnessed actually really gnarly, like, healings afterwards, right?
Yeah.
Um like after a session, like, I've experienced my neck pain going away, and still today, like, it's not there anymore.
Mhm.
um I experienced, oh, like through integration, I experienced like my circulation healing.
Mhm.
So my hands and feet always used to be cold, and it's not the case anymore. Um, what else?
I mean, so many, I can't.
Oh, yeah, like the throat. I had a sore throat, and after the session, done, gone.
Yeah.
Because we just kind of dove so deep into it that, like, when you come out of it, it's not there anymore. Yeah. And yeah,
Remember what you helped me through with my urinary tract infection?
yeah,
I was
yeah,
burning. I even resorted to antibiotics, which I was like, oh no, like but I was doing everything, and it wasn't. There was still
yeah.
like this like burning that wasn't going away. And then we dove into it.
Yes.
Dove in really deep,
Uh-huh.
and then
And then after,
and then it was just that was it.
yeah,
Uh huh.
yep,
Yeah,
gone.
we vanished. So it's very
So,
powerful, this connection between like diving into the subconscious emotional realm,
mhm,
like, yeah, and how there's a direct correlation with your
yeah,
physical embodiment,
yeah,
physical reality.
yeah.
When
And we're
you
not saying
stuff. Yeah.
like this is the way to cure everything, but like kind of like, but like we really recognize that in the physical ailment, it's really like what's stored in there is suppressed emotions.
Mhm.
And once it's heard, like there's no need or reason for that stored energy to stay in that space.
Mhm. Mhm. Mhm.
And that really made us realize, oh my God, like again, like everything feels so energetic. Like, I
Yeah.
don't know,
Yeah. Yeah.
like energy is connected to emotions or something.
They
Yeah.
say energy or emotion is energy in motion. That's what I heard.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So anyway, yeah. So thank you everyone for tuning in to our
Yes.
Earth of Mirror Moons. Yes.
Yep.
Uh,
And
Stay
more
tuned.
to come in the
Yeah, more to
future.
come. Stay tuned.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank
Until next
you.
time.
Bye.
Bye.